and welcome back to my workshop journey. After last week and starting to process the length of oak that I have, if you remember, we had the problem of the piece tapering. Now I have a totally flat face and I have two perfectly flat and square edges. So this afternoon it's going to be processing this side, but because of the taper I don't want to lose this thickness, just so that I can get all of it flat. So I was left with deciding how long I can take that and then cut it and process both pieces separately. So having spoken to management, we're going to make it, the taper starts at about that point going that way, so that's about 58 centimeters. That's fine for my wife, and that will give her plenty of shelf space that she wants, and then I can process that for the shelf and that piece for the brackets and supports. So I've got the thicknesser set up. First thing I have to do is make sure I cut the, having got the thicknesser set up into place, of course I've got to actually do the cutting. So first things first, that's the thick end. About 58 centimeters. We'll take it to there. Let's just mark that. There. And let's turn the laser on. Make sure that is square, and it's you won't be able to see it, but the line, the laser is straight down the line. So here's vacuum. There we go. Now I can process both of those independently, and on the shorter, thinner piece I'm not going to be wasting as much material. Good. So the first thing first, cut from the thickest to the thinnest. And I've just realised that there is a bow on that. It's bowing from the edges up to here. It's interesting. Didn't realise that before. So, that, how am I going to get out of that? I've only just realised that there is this bow from the two ends. So if I, how much of a bow is it? Let me get the straight edge. It's not much, it's about 1 millimetre. That way, and to the planer rather than the thickness. Reason being, I've just had quite a good discussion with my neighbour Tim, and chewing over how to handle the cupped nature of the boards. And if I get my straight edge, that it's about 1 millimetre deep cup in the middle of the length on the sawn side. But with the way that I was working last week, I didn't realise just how cupped the length was. So what I would have done as I was planing this side was really exaggerating the cup, because if I put the straight edge there, this end here is about 5 millimeters out, so that's going to produce no good results whatsoever. So the suggestion for Tim is to forget that side for the moment, put that side through the planer, make that the face side, square, make sure one edge is square, and then I can just about get through with putting the other edge through the thicknesser to get that nice and square and parallel as well, because apparently that is about 2 millimeters difference one end to the other. So you might not be able to see it, but the whole piece tapers from this end to this end. So that's what I'm going to do, make that the new face side on both pieces, and then I can set about squaring everything up. Right. So make sure that's in place. This time I've got the vent, the blast gate open, so I won't have a build-up of chippings this time. Right, let me make the actual cut a little less deep this time, because I only want small amounts off at each time. There we go. Okay, so that's taken that side down nicely, and pencil, the pencil somewhere around, nicely mullered, the pencil is somewhere around, there it is. So that is now face side. Okay, let me do the same with the shorter piece. And I ought to get a push stick that is now the new face side. So that's those two. Now I've got to decide face edge. Right, one small clamp just to hold the two pieces together. Now what I've got is the two face edges are down on the thickness of bed. The two face sides are together. That way everything will be nice and parallel. And I've checked, there is a gap there so that the clamp won't interfere with either side. So it's just a case of adjusting the height. There we go. Let's try this. Right, so that was two small passes, and those pieces now are the same width all the way across. That's fine. So now I can release that and put the new face sides down so I can thickness everything. Let's see where I'm working. So that's the face side. Right in the middle it's 27. At this end it's 25. At this end it's 24.5. So it's taking it out in the middle first here before I get down to this end. Right, so that's the thicker end. That's the one that will go through first. Right, that's taken it down to a nice 20 millimeters all the way across. That means the two sides are parallel, the two edges are parallel, the two faces are parallel. So just got to do this thinner board now. And what are we working at here? This one, the thickest end is 20, just under 23. The thinnest end is 19. So we're taking it down to about 19. So face side is down. There we go. So that now is 17.5mm across the length, across the thickness, and again, two edges are parallel, two sides are parallel. I can now work with that much better. Now, one thing I don't use as much as I should is the Liberon lubricating wax, just to make sure that although the top of the planer is cast aluminium, the bed is cast iron, and I just want to make sure that everything is rust proof. So I'm just going to give everything a quick going over with the wax. That way everything will move smoothly next time around. So just a case of applying this over the thickness of bed. A little goes a very long way. That will make sure everything is nice and smooth next time. So I should move that out of the way. There we go. That's that. And that's that. Move that right out of the way. And a little bit on the planer surface. There we go, and shows just how much dirt is there as well. So that will dry nicely, help to protect it. Then all I have to do is put everything back together. And dust hopper. There we go. And all ready for next time. Now what I want to do, as I was trying to explain last time, is to recreate this arrangement with the bracket and the existing shelf support that you see there. Those are just screwed into place. What I'd like to do with this new shelf is to have a sliding dovetail to hold things together. Now that means the piece that attaches to the wall needs to be a little wider, because this bottom screw is fine, that is easily accessible, but this one, the piece that attaches to the wall, is a bit too narrow, so this top screw is too close to the actual shelf support, and it makes it a little difficult to get the screwdriver there. So I want to make it a little wider than that, but I want to be able to use the almost the full width of the shelf with the actual shelf support. So that's the next part of the planning to this piece. So that's the shelf, and those are going to be the shelf support and the wall brackets as well. Now that's the template that I want to be using, and that is roughly where I want it to go, which means I'm going to be using it like that. So I will be marking two pieces like that so I can cut the shelf support, and then use the rest of this piece to, so if you imagine those being like that, that will then slide into there and slide into there. And of course I want to keep the grain in direction of travel, so those are upright, so I want the grain to be upright, and the grain there obviously will be horizontal. So this, as I say, this is just where the planning comes in. So make sure that that's like that, and that's like that. So those are the two shelf brackets, and the sliding dovetail will be on that edge and that edge. Right, now that length is 135, which is there. I'm not, this edge needs squaring off at the moment, so this is only a rough measurement. So if I take the just lightly across there so I can see it, so that will be like that, but of course it needs to extend below, doesn't it? So if I've got plenty to work with. So if I take it to 20 below, like that, and I have of course now got 123 to play with, so 60 millimeters. That will be ample for the bracket, because if I, just by way of test, make that 60 there, and that will go there, roughly in the middle. That is going to leave me 23-ish. This is only rough, of course. There we go. So 20 millimeters, that will allow me a screw there into the wall and a screw here into the wall, and I will be able to get better access to that. So 60 millimeter width, that's a nice size for the actual piece that fits to the wall. And of course I've got plenty of depth here for a sliding dovetail. Okay, and if I'm going to do a sliding dovetail on here, do I need, I will actually need to, I've got plenty of spare capacity. I could do with extending this by about 10 millimeters to take that dovetail at both ends. So 10. So what that will mean is on here, if I take that 10 millimeters like that, that, and and 10 millimeters this way is to there. Take that across like that, and then right, so 1, 2, and I will need to square that off. Then I can make the cut. What did I say? 150 55 millimeters, and then halve it. Good. That's fine. So I will square that off first, and I'll do this on the bandsaw because at least I can then guarantee everything will be square. Okay. Checked everything for squareness, so you can see there's quite a big gap down at this corner, so that's the little bit I'm just squaring off. There we go. Now all I need to do is measure 155 up there, cut that off, and halve it, and that will be the two wall brackets. So 155, won't hurt if I make it 160. There we go. Measure from the face edge. That's where I'm cutting. Like that. Bring that down. Make sure it's positioned correctly. There we go. That's that one. So the actual width is 124, so that's 62. That and that. I can use the fence for this because of course that's the face edge. There we go. Those with the wall brackets, and that will be where the shelf supports are. So all I've got to do now is cut the two shelf supports. Of course, I now need to take the fence off again. So that will slide onto the shelf, and then the whole arrangement will slide onto the wall bracket. So the screws will down at the bottom. I will have plenty either side to go like that. Okay. And there is a little bit of tidying up there to do. That needs to be smoothed off. But things are looking good. And so we are getting there. It's a small project, but I've certainly learned a great deal about the overcoming of the imperfections of the stock, and I'm very grateful for Tim's input this afternoon to help me to see how to overcome the warping and cupping of the timber, and just trying to think through which way things are going to go means I'm going to be pleased with this project. I know that for a start. Thanks for coming along with me on this journey, and hope you're enjoying it, and I look forward to hearing your comments and being able to share this journey together, and I'll see you next time.